Hey guys, Kariba Bros here, back with Ants doing another deck profile. Today is Cosmo, which is Star Wars meets.
Alice in Wonderland.
So a very expensive deck upon release, over 3 sets, I think.
Yeah, Dimensions of Chaos. Docks. That
Docs,
sets.
yeah, Docs had this
No,
the
yeah.
yeah Docs.
Dimensions
The
of
Buster
Chaos.
Blade set had the Dark Destroyer, but the set before that, whatever that was, that had the Farm Girl, and she was a £50 ultra at the time of release.
Yeah. Well, the first editions of Cosmo were like trap tricks, where they thought it was kind of funny that with a generation shift that was popping. But anyway, we'll get straight into this deck profile. This is Cosmo. For all the people who don't know what this deck does, I'll explain it as we go through. For all you original content Yu-Gi-Oh players, you'll know what this deck does. It's just basically what it says on the tin. So we'll just get straight into it. So we'll start with Eclipser. Over there. So Eclipser is a level 9 spaceship effect monster that cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects, period. And during the player's turn, you can banish a Cosmo monster from your graveyard to negate the activation of a trap card. Just the activation, not the effect. You can do that more than once per turn, but only once per chain, I believe. The other nice thing about this is if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish it from the graveyard as cost to search a level 8 or lower Cosmo monster. So that's Dark Eclipser, so we'll just move that over to the side. For the next one, we play the best one, the most expensive one, 3 Dark Destroyer. This is a level 8 spaceship and has a very similar effect, if not exact same. It's a level 8 ship that cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. On summon, when it is summoned from the hand by banishing a level 7 or lower Cosmo monster to summon it from hand, it gets to destroy a card on the field. It targets, it can target itself and destroy itself. And when this card is destroyed, you can banish from grave as cost to summon a level 7 or lower Cosmo monster from the deck. So you'll see the synergies quite quickly with this deck. So we've got a level 7 ship. This one's a light. This is again untargetable by your opponent's card effects. In the standby phase of your turn, you gain 1,000 life points. That is a mandatory effect. And if this card is destroyed by battle card effects, you can banish from the grave and summon a level 6 or lower from your deck. We're getting there. But 2 level 5 light ships. This is the X-Wing. This is the most, outside of Dark Destroyer, is the most known one, I would say, just because of its resemble-like appearance from Star Wars. But yeah, so this is level 5 light machine monster that on summon can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it either side of the field, which is kind of good. And when it's destroyed with battle card effects, it can special level 4 Cosmo monster from the deck. So there's, you kind of understanding, like, they all kind of do the same thing. They're all different levels, light and dark attributes, and all have very similar effects. So this is what we call the ships, because they're all spaceships. And we'll move on to the pilots, which is level 5. This is Dark Lady. She is like the negator of the deck, probably one of the better cards of the deck as well, outside of Dark Destroyer. This, during the player's turn, you can pay 1,000 life points to negate the effect of a monster and destroy that card. During the player's turn, you can banish this card to summon a level 6 or higher Cosmo monster from your hand. So that's pretty good. Then we play Wicked Witch. One of the only cards in the deck that does not come in any higher rarity other than gold or common. I don't play golds because they are vile. Unless it's Beatrice, and then I have no choice. But Wicked Witch is level 4. During the player's turn, you can banish it from your hand, banish it from the field, sorry, and summon level 5 or higher Cosmo monster from your hand. So the ships all have the, when they're destroyed effects, these all have, when they're on the field, you can banish them from field, summon from hand. So the ships summon from deck, the pilots summon from hand. And then during the player's turn, when this card will be destroyed, you can pay 1,000 life points, and it can't be destroyed by battle card effects for the rest of the turn. Farm Girl, one of the better ones again. Banishes from fields, some level 4 or higher. Level 3 light psychic monster, so that is relevant for the card that we play in the main deck. and when she inflicts damage by battle, you can pay 500 life points and then search any Cosmo card from your deck. So the early interactions of this deck was literally farm wheel, attack, add, attack, 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 and kind of just win like that. As did this deck's changed a lot over time, but we'll get into the nitty gritty of it. Strawman, again another reference to Alice in Wonderland. Some people say it's C3PO. It's Strawman from Alice in Wonderland. Level 2 light psychic, again relevant for a card we play in the main deck. So during your play turn you can banish this from level 3 or higher from hand. Cosmo monster, and then during your turn you can pay 500 life points as cost to target a banished Cosmo monster, summon it in attack or defense position. Its effects are negated, and then during the end phase, if it's still on the field, you destroy it. So it has some synergies there with the Cosmo monsters. And then the best dialect of the deck, Tin Can. This is what kind of gets your whole play started. So this is the R2D2 of the deck. It's a level 1 light psychic. So during each player's turn you can banish from field, summon a level 2 or higher Cosmo monster from your hand. And then during the end phase of each player's turn you can pay 500 life points as cost. Reveal 3 Cosmo monsters, or 3 Cosmo cards, sorry, from your deck. You roll a die, you declare the numbers of the cards you revealed, you add that relevant target's hand, and you send the other 2 to grave. It's a very, very, very good card. And it kind of just searches for your whole deck and fills your grave. Because they can be special summoned from the grave with cards like Call Haunted, Back to the Front, Monster Reborn, stuff like that. We'll go to the hand traps. We'll just move all this. We are playing 3 Ash Blossom. Very stable for this format. Very, very good against Dragoon decks. Hitting the Red Ice Fusion. It's good against Virtual World. Popping it, keeping them out of certain cards so you can maintain the game state. Again, all round good card. And then we're playing 2 Nibiru as well. This did fall out of favour a bit in the main decks. It was very side deck heavy, but you know, when you're not playing a great meta deck, it's worth maining this because it's such an equaliser, and people don't expect it in the main. So that's nice. So that's it for the monsters. Move on to the spells. Very small spell count. Cosmo Time, probably the 2nd best field spell ever. Beats Diagram every day of the week. You know, 2nd to mine, I'd say. Has 3 effects. Once per turn, you can pay life points, target a Cosmo monster in the banish zone, add it to your hand, and then take life points equal to the monster's level times 100. So if you target at level 9 Dark Eclipse, you take 900 life points. The next effect is once per turn you can reveal to your opponent, not as cost. So you declare the effects of reveal cards from your hand to your opponent. It has to be Cosmo monsters. You shuffle them back into the deck and then draw the same amount as you shuffle back in. So it's like the mulligan effect. So if anyone's played Magic of the Gathering, they'll get that reference, mulligan. And then the 3rd effect, the best effect, if it's destroyed, search any Cosmo card. It's once per turn on all the effects, not hard once per turn, so you can play 2 in a turn and use the effects again if you really wanted to. Reasoning is fantastic in this deck. I remember playing it at 3. It was absolutely ridiculous. You just play it and summon the Dark Destroyer most of the time, and it was so oppressive. It was really good. So, call level 1 to 8, summon it from deck if it's called incorrectly. 1 for 1 gets us access to our Tin Can, which is literally the only card we want to see in our starting hand. And it fuels the graveyard. E-Tally. So this gets us to Vargirl, Strawman, and Tin Can. All level 3 psychic monsters or lower. And then we play Dimensional Fissure. This really, like, this deck can play around floodgates like this, and I might as well just show this one over here. Macrocosmos. Although you do get sent to the graveyard, and then banish from graveyard's cost. If you can just establish a big monster that can't be targeted by opponent's card effects and set up a Macrocosmos or a D-Fisher, you're pretty much winning from that point. So that's it for the spells. I think there's 7 there. So we'll move on to the traps. We're playing 3 trap trick to get every trap on our deck, pretty much. 3 punishments. This card's absolutely fantastic in this deck. This is what this deck's really needed for a while. it's just like it's like a Regeki break, but better. Because you can send certain extra cards to the grave, which we can take full advantage of. And we're not really bothered about the extra deck in this deck. We kind of just play them for toolbox reasons, or just there to just kind of like throw our opponent off. But this is really good in this deck. You can pop your own. You can target them onto your opponent controls, pop it, send them a Tis, and then the Tis can pop the Dark Destroyer to float into a tin can in the end phase. So there's a few little combos we can do with this, which is nice. 3TT is absolutely brilliant in this deck because all our ships like to be destroyed by card effects. We get to summon another one from deck, so oftentimes we'll maybe summon a Dark Destroyer, pop them onto our opponent controls. Then when they summon again, we torrential, and then we destroy the cards in the field, and we trigger our effect Dark Destroyer to summon a Dark Lady from deck, which is another negation, which is kind of cool. We play 2 Cosmo. This is the in-archetypal trap card for this deck. It's fantastic. It is a non-targeting removal in the form of banishing. So we target a Cosmo monster we control, we destroy it, and then because it doesn't target, your opponent has to respond to the activation of this card, and then we can either hit a card in the graveyard or on field, banish it without targeting. It's fantastic. We only played it 2 though because you do need a Cosmo monster, and sometimes you don't have that, so it's not great by itself. Another card that's not great by itself, but it's very good in the deck overall, is Back to the Front. All the lists would have played Call the Haunted, but this is just far superior to Call the Haunted because it doesn't lead to quick play destruction. Summon Dark Destroyer from grave, summon Dark Lady from grave, summon Slipper Rider from grave. You know, this has utility in this deck and always will have. And then Macrocosmos. So that's it for the main deck, but we'll just quickly run over a few cards. So essentially, this deck needs a bit like Monarch, and obviously Monarch on this channel is President. Like, it's Nathan's favourite deck. Helmet deck, strap in.
Armbands at the ready.
Armbands at the ready. So this deck needs a pilot and a ship to operate. If you just draw all ships, you can't play. If you draw all pilots outside of this, then you know you kind of play, but you need both of them in your hand essentially. So we're better. So basically, this is the only exception. So you can normal list and search this, or you can search. You can search a Slip Rider. You could search a Forerunner. You could search a Dark Lady. Yeah. Just some examples. So that's what Tin Can does. Gets you to any of these. This is why Tin Can's so important in this deck. And we essentially play 6 of them. 5, definitely 5 of them with 1-for-1 in the Italian and 3 of the copies. You can't reason them, but it's you've got to be a very lucky person to hit this off reasoning, to be fair. So yeah. So basically, any pilot and a ship is a good start in this deck. Essentially, it's like you get a control. We're going to normal summon this. We're going to search this in an ideal world. During each place turn, we banish it. We summon this. We pop a card. We monster our opponent controls, and then we just sit on this. And then when this is destroyed, we can tag it. We refer to like tag it about. When it's destroyed, banish itself. Summon a negate, or summon a spell and trap pop, or summon another untargetable ship. You know, there's versatility in this deck, which is really nice. So we'll move on to the extra deck, where again it's not really important, but it's very toolboxy. Some of you might know what these 2 cards are. Cyber Dragons from one of the games posted in the last couple of days. It takes 2 level 5 machines, which we do play because Slipper Rider is a level 5 machine, so we can make Infinity. Again, we don't really summon them, but you know, it's nice to have. Comes up every now and then. Same for Pleiades, Magma Liger, Bulkasaurus, all level 5s, all easy enough to get into, especially with Strawman. Strawman can summon a Slip Rider from the Banished, and then you can just tag out the Strawman, summon another Slip Rider. This card, I'd probably say that this card in tandem with Gaia Charger is probably like the best cards in this deck if you're going to go into the extra deck, because it just puts your opponents on such a clock. Where if you're just going to attack them with the 3k Dark Destroyer and then next turn do this and this, then you know they're quite close to dying already. So I assume everyone knows what these do. This returns cards to hand. This pops destroys a monster. This destroys a monster like Ring of Destruction and then burns your opponent. And then this you can put on all 3 of these, all these, and then attack, and it does piercing. Omega, 3 Natis are probably our best targets for dogmatic punishments. It's very overkill to play 3, but there's literally no other cards to play in the deck. Omega's nice. It's graveyard manipulation with punishment, which is kind of nice. It's very niche. It comes up every now and then. Punishment's probably going to send Natis most of the time. It's going to help us combo as well. Just 2 big monsters to send off punishment if we ever need to pop a bigger monster than Dark Destroyer or Eclipser. And then just some staple link monsters that very rarely get summoned, but if I need to get cards in the graveyard, I can use these and use this. And they're all forms of destruction, sorry. So the side deck, side deck's a bit strange in this, but you know, we'll crack on. Nibiru, the 3rd one, that's a point actually, I didn't mention that. So the reason we play Nibiru in the main is because of the synergy that it has with Cosmo monsters. So let's say we've summoned a Wicked Witch and we have a Dark Destroyer in hand, and we have a Nibiru in hand. And let's say our opponent summons 5 times, and we know the Dark Destroyer doesn't do enough, but we've got Nibiru in hand. If they summon more than 5 times, we can go, okay, they've summoned 5, we can go effects of Wicked Witch, which banishes its cost. If that goes through, that's fine. Then we can chain Nibiru to tribute all face-up monsters on the field. We Nibiru them, and then at resolution of Nibiru, Wicked Witch will resolve, summon Dark Destroyer from hand, and then we can pop the token. And we've got 2 really big monsters on the field. So the Nibiru has that niche interaction. Got like Gamma as well. Gamma's pretty good in this deck as well, but not in this list anyway. We're playing 1 Scythe and the 2 Sanctums to accompany it, because we are playing Trap Trick. We don't really need to play 3. It was a bit tight in the side deck as well, so this is just nice. This locks the opponent out if we're going first. Really nice. 3 draw, which is really good against Drytron and Bird Up. It's just completely ends the turn. You know, you need to play this format. Lancia again is good against the top decks, good against Dino, it's good against Virtual World and Bird Up as well. So it's probably the best side deck hand trap I feel, outside of probably Nibiru. This is probably really good. And then speaking of Virtual World, 2 Mischiefy the Gnomes. This is again another win button against them. They can't make VFD. They make really suboptimal plays, and we don't really care about levels. If anything, we get to normal summon a slip out from hand because 5 or a Dark Lady. So, and then 3 evenly matched just to outboards, go in second, and get through back row and stuff. It's pretty standard in side decks. So yeah, that's pretty much Cosmo. It's a fun deck. It used to be meta relevant, so there isn't anymore, but as I say, it's a very fun roguish option to take, and just the idea of summoning a big ship that can't be targeted is still somewhat scary for a lot of decks as well. So that's pretty much it.